All right, y'all, bring it in. Bring it in. That's good. Welcome to chess, ladies and gentlemen. All right, man, I appreciate you guys very much for stopping by. So I do have a chess.com match between Quang Liêm Lee versus Wesley So. So this is a Webster University reunion. You see they're nice and happy and you know, cordial in the thumbnail until the chess begins. Then they're not friends no more, homie. Yes, all my people that are coming from the Philippines, I will say maraming salamat. Anybody who is coming from Vietnam, I will say come on, Ben. I appreciate you guys very much for stopping by. So if you guys are ready to go, let's take a look and see what we got for this one right here. All right, man, so we got knight to f3, so we start off with the ready. But you guys know all the time that this pretty much transposes almost every single time, and we do see the move c5. This is not the most common move that you're going to see black play. Wesley So is basically saying, hey, man, I want to play a Sicilian, bro. Let's get into Sicilian waters. So if you want to keep it in like ready land or maybe English, you might play something like c4, you know, just kind of getting into more of English lines. But Liêm Lee decides, he's like, man, I'll oblige you. So he goes ahead and goes e4. We do see d6. We got knight c3, knight f6. We got d4. Pawn takes, knight takes, and then even though it's a crazy move order, you probably almost never see this move order, but we do have a Najdorf Sicilian defense. Some of you guys might have heard of it. I mean, this is my first time hearing about it personally, but we do have a Najdorf on the board. We got bishop going to e2. We see the move e5. We got knight to b3, and some of you guys might be like, wait a minute. Why would I go e5 and then strap myself with a backward pawn? Well, basically, black is arguing that they're going to have bishop e6. They're going to have b5. They're going to have a little bit of counterplay, and they can babysit this d6 pawn legitimately, which this bishop and the queen, they kind of do pretty legitimately. It's actually pretty hard to get at this backward pawn as black. So we got bishop e7. We do see the move bishop e3. We got bishop e6, like I was saying, the typical stuff. Now, something you do want to note, before we do see bishop e7, sometimes in rare situations, you might see g6, bishop g7. The move bishop to e2, you're really just trying to, you know, control these squares right here. If you do see g6, h4, h5 starts to kind of chip away at that a little bit, and you have double hit this square right here, so the knight they can't just, you know, capture on h5 without some consequences. But like I said, we did get in this position here. We got knight going to d5, and then we actually see the move knight b to d7. So some of you guys might be wondering, okay, wait a minute. Can't I just take knight takes e4, and then I'm like, yes, I've won a pawn. I'm going to win the game. Anybody out there who thinks that I'm not going to win this game doesn't know what they're talking about until you see the move bishop to b6. They're like, wait a minute. Okay, maybe everybody out here that's watching this was right. Maybe I'm not going to win the game. You would probably see queen to c8 and then knight to c7. You got, no, yeah, no, don't do that, bro. Look at this. This is ideal if you are white, so you got to be careful in the Sicilian just grabbing pawns. They are not usually free. So that is why after the knight goes to d5, we just simply see knight going to d7. We got queen up to d3 because now the b6 square is doubly covered and stuff. So we don't have the bishop b6 ideas, so we do have to do something about this pawn now. So we do see, like I said, queen to d3. We got castles by black. We got a4. We got bishop taking d5, pawn taking d5, and then we do see the move knight to b6. And knight to b6 is double hitting this pawn right here, so you kind of have to do something about it. You are leading with your queen, so you can't, you know, play moves like rook to d1. Rook d1 just drops the pawn on a4 anyways, so you kind of have to defend a specific way. So that is why we do see the move c4, and then we see the move a5 by black. And it might look kind of strange. You're like, why am I going over here with a5? Well, one of the ideas that white has in the position is to go a5 themselves, and then after the knight drops back, you have some possibilities. After, let's say, the knight would move somewhere else, you know, you do have some bishop b6 stuff. That's a big idea. So basically, Wesley So just shuts that down from jump. Says, we're not doing any of that stuff, bro. We got the move g4, and this is the novelty of the game. It's kind of crazy because you're looking at it like, okay, I have not castled either way. Why not just fling my g-pawn up the board? I'm perfectly safe, right? You're absolutely not perfectly safe. This king needs to live somewhere, bro. But you kind of have all your pawns flung forward, so it really kind of seems like the king is just going to live in the center of the board forever. And, I mean, that's just going to be what it's going to be. We do see rook sliding over to c8. We got knight taking a5. So we kind of have some back and forth movements here. Some Weissenszug situations. Knight takes a5. We got knight b taking d5, which does discover an attack on this lonely knight over here on the rim. It's really grim on the rim, so that is the true definition of a knight on the rim. We do see knight taking b7. We got queen going over to c7, and then we do see pawn taking d5. The queen takes a b7, and then we do see castles by white. You guys are probably sitting there looking at the board, wondering, okay, wait a minute, man. Like, isn't this pawn just kind of, why am I blurry, bro? Thank you. I mean, why is this pawn just not capturable? Like, is it a trap like before? It is not a trap like before, but there's something very important that you need to be paying attention to in the position. You are down a pawn as black. That's the one thing you have to pay attention to. So we kind of have somewhat of a Banco situation where black has a compact pawn structure and white does not. The most important thing as black you need to be looking at in the position is you do have these completely passed pawns over here on the queen side. So you, instead of just going off and just capturing pawns, you do kind of have to be mindful of that. So we do see e4 trying to knock the queen somewhere. We do see queen going to b5, and queen taking b5 would be followed with bishop taking b5, and then the rook would be swinging over, and you got these pawns pretty much unstoppable, so you definitely don't want to go into doing that. So we do see Wesley So playing the correct way. We got queen going back to a8. We got the rook f sliding over to d1. Now we are protecting the pawn that we have on d5. We got the rook down to c2. We do see the move a5. Now Lee is definitely paying attention, and he's mindful of the fact that he does have these really strong passed pawns over here on the queen side. So I mean, why not push him? That's what Philidor said, right? Correct. We got rook going over to b8. We got bishop up to b6, perfectly plugging the situation. So as of right now, white kind of has everything, taken care of. I mean, these pawns are protected. The bishop is blocking this rook. The queen is holding this bishop. The bishop is holding this pawn. So everything is kind of working out for the moment for white. We do see the move h5, trying to open the king up on the king side. We do see the move g5. We got knight down to g4. And it is kind of hitting in white's position a little bit, but black is not in a really great position to really, start attacking white. The queen is like way over here. You kind of want the queen to be like right here, right? Checkmate. But we do not have that. We do see rook A going to c1. We got rook taking c1, rook taking c1, and then we do see bishop taking g5. And the crazy thing is, I mean, white has definitely just given up one of their pawns, but they are completely winning in this position. If you can just kind of hold on and make the correct moves, you are plus like 2.5 right here. But I mean, like all humans do, sometimes you just don't really make the right moves. So sometimes you can lose something as serious as that. We do see the rook going to c6. Now, this seems like a really good move, but absolutely the best move is rook to c7 in this position here. You will be having a little bit of some issues with rook to c6 coming into the future, and you will see why. But we do see rook c6. We got the move e3. You got to kind of be a little bit careful here. You don't really want to just open things up right here. Pawn takes and then bishop takes. And the problem is you really don't have this bishop mobile because the queen is being covered by the bishop. So you can get into some dicey situations. So we do see Lee just kind of closing the position down with f3. We do see knight up to e5. And this was the slight issue that I was telling you guys with before. So the knight does come up here and it does hit this rook. If it was on c7, it wouldn't be hit, but this is where we're at. We got the rook taking d6, so we grab another pawn. We got the queen going to b7, and the crazy thing is the computer basically tells you that you're pretty much dead even in this position. It's not really telling you that white is doing superior, but as a human, you're looking at this probably and saying, okay, I'm up a whole pawn. I got the double bishops. The position is somewhat kind of open. Like I should just be like +3, +4. I should just be winning the game, but you're not. It's crazy. Black has some counterplay in the position. It's insane. We do see the move a6, which seems even stronger because you're like, hey man, I got the bishop protected on b6. I'm pushing a7. I mean, I got these pawns over here, bro. Like, there's no way. Like, I got 3 completely passed pawns on the board, man. So the fact that the computer says triple zeros, it kind of makes you hate stockfish, right? You're like, bro, stockfish, you're tripping, bro. Queen slides over to e7. And the crazy thing about the position is Wesley So is kind of finding everything he needs to find to defend this position and keep it dead even. We got the move a7. Like I said, it just kind of looks like white is just completely dominating this position. But black has counterplay. We got queen taking d6, pawn taking b8, and that is queens with check. The queen takes on b8, and then we do see the move bishop to d4. Like I said, you in this position, you look like you're just completely won. You're like, all right, man, I got these two passed pawns right here. If I could just get these queens off the board, everything is everything. But bishop to d4 is actually a blunder by Liêm. So if you want to go ahead and pause the video and try to see what move Wesley So has, there are really kind of two moves, but if you want to try to guess the move that Wesley So played in this position, go ahead and do so. Okay, so like I said, there's two moves. So if you guessed queen taking b5, you would be absolutely correct there as well. Because you do have situations like bishop taking here, and then after the knight takes, you are forking both of these pieces. So you are just going to be a complete piece up. There is another move that you can play, and I think this move is actually a lot harder to find. I think probably a lot of people went into queen takes b5, which is absolutely fine as well. But this is the crazy move that Wesley So finds in the position right now. And it is just the immediate knight takes f3 check. And you have some problems right here if you are, if you are Liêm. The problem is, I mean, you can't capture this knight because you would just be dropping your queen for absolutely free, just like with nothing. So you don't want to do that, and I mean, the problem is you can't just really kind of sit there and do nothing because then this bishop is going to be getting taken. And I mean, you're just going to be down an entire piece. Really doesn't matter what you do. You're going to be down an entire piece anyway. So that is what I like to call ganda in Tagalog, man. I learned that word. I think it means what I think it means. I will have somebody tell me if I use it incorrectly, but I was looking up how to say like that's sick or crazy, and ganda came up as an option. It's kind of like a slang. So hopefully I use the slang correctly. Like I said, I will be informed if that is not correct, but for right now, I'm a flow with it. So I appreciate everybody very much for stopping by. Maraming salamat sa king makaibigan. Post na nunod in king my video. I appreciate anybody coming from Vietnam. I will say Ja Moi Noi and Cam On Ban if you are coming from Vietnam. I appreciate you guys very much, and I'm gonna see you guys next time.